Hey guys, it's Besa, and it's another episode of the Rewind with Besa. Not gonna front, don't know what episode this is. It'll probably be up in the title, but either way, I got my girl Jazzy Redd with me.
Hello.
For those of you guys that don't know, Jazz is actually from Tacoma, but right now she's in Cali living her best life, child.
Yes, 253 to 213.
So, okay, first and foremost, what's it like in LA right now during this pandemic?
You know what? It's weird. They just closed down the restaurants. So before we were already doing the outdoor seating. So we already had it to where we only sat outside. They were actually turning like parking lots into places where people could sit. Because in LA we really don't have a winter. So 70 degrees is not that bad to be sitting down eating. But excuse me, they recently just changed that. So now you only can get to go and take out. So not as fun as it was.
What was it, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Inslee decided to roll us back. And so we're on like a rollback until I think January, to where same place, in Seattle, it's just cold. So what do you mean I got to eat outside?
Yeah, well, I saw that you guys were supposed to have outdoor seating. And I was like, in the dead of winter. Like, my winter coat on. Like, what do you mean?
I'll just take my food to go. I'll keep working with my little Uber Eats, minding my own business, because my food's gonna be cold. It's gonna be nasty, so I'm just not doing it.
It doesn't make no sense to me.
Do you feel like you've gotten used to the pandemic at all yet? Like, I don't know about anyone else, but sometimes I feel like I'm getting used to it. Other times it just feels like cabin fever. Like it's been snowing for months and we just can't go outside. But I've also kind of gotten used to just being at home and like in my own space and kind of like working. I feel like I work 24/7 now, but it's all right. What do you feel like?
For me, I feel like with work, I work from home. So it's different in the way that like people have more access in my building to me. Not a lot of people know I'm a property manager as well. So usually you guys have to hit me up on my phone because I'm out and about. I'm doing things, but now that I'm stuck at home, it's like people have so much more access to me. I have to be here all the time, and I don't like that so much. But at the same time, I do like, I feel like in the beginning that I never got to enjoy my apartment for a little bit. And so now I feel like, okay, I love my place, but I'm also like, I'm not ready to move out of here too. You just discover new things.
I've been like, maybe I want to move to a different spot. I don't know. But speaking of local things, did you get a chance to see the Nate Robinson fight?
Of course, I bought it on pay-per-view. I spent the $50.
Okay, well, for anyone that didn't see it, I'm gonna play you guys the clip that actually had me cracking up. I did not expect for Snoop Dogg to kind of go in like that, if you will.
But Snoop Dogg is singing the hymns. He's trying to get Robinson. Mama being the problem child, proving to be a big problem for Nate Robinson.
No. I'm sorry. It was Snoop Dogg for me.
No, okay. So this is the knockout clip. If you were watching prior, Snoop Dogg is literally singing like a hymn, a church hymn. He's like, "Oh Lord," and he starts singing a whole.
You know what? I didn't see. What did he sing, like Amazing Grace or something at one point?
I feel like it was like Precious. I think it was Precious Love or something. Precious Love. Precious Love.
Help him, please.
Oh,
okay. In all seriousness, here's my problem. There are a lot of people that were just very upset with people, kind of clowning him. And here's my thing. I understand why some people would be upset. I understand why some people would be very protective of him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I really feel like This man that is on our screen right now got paid $600,000 to get knocked out in 2.5 seconds.
2.5 seconds.
So, and I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of people get knocked out for free. So, to me, I'm like, at least he got paid.
True that. Okay. I think people are more sensitive about it where we're from because this is like a hometown hero, versus some random Joe Schmo that got knocked out. I think that's why people know him personally from Tacoma, from Seattle. He's from Seattle. So I think that in that way, a lot of people were more sensitive to the jokes.
Yeah, I think that's really what it is. But at the same time, you also have the people that were like, oh my God, why shouldn't we make fun of him? And I'm like, at a certain point, you guys are just doing too much. But at the same time, we cannot ignore the fact that Snoop Dogg just really made it funnier than real.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is the package. It's not just the knockout. The knockout was freaking hilarious, but not just that. It was also the commentary, everything that was going on, especially how it started. It's only a minute 30 minutes or 30 a minute 30 seconds that you can watch the fight. But he started off real it looked like a street fight at first, the way that he was coming off. And in my mind, I'm thinking we're not fighting at the end of Tia lose. This is not the end of the club. This is an actual boxing match. And I think that that's kind of the reason why it ended the way it did too, because Jake Paul is fighting like a boxer and Nate Robinson's fighting like a street fight, and there's a difference, clearly.
I mean, at the end of the day, we had someone from our state that was on a really big screen, and he wasn't even on a screen that he typically trains in. So I'm going to get my chuckles. I'm sorry. It was funny. But I still respect the man, and that's on period.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's still a man. We're still respectable. Come on. People I think we're just taking it to another level. But at the end of the day, we would have clowned anybody. That's the thing. We would have clowned anyone that got knocked out like that. It didn't have to just be Nate Robinson. It could have been anyone that would have got knocked out like that. They would have got clowned on. And like I said, people are going to talk about it for a couple weeks, and then it's going to glaze over, and something else is going to happen. Someone else is going to be number one.
Period.
That's it.
Now, I would love to know your thoughts because, we worked at Juice Radio together, so you listen to music like me. What do you think about The Weeknd not getting nominated for a Grammy? He actually recently did a little tweet that said something about how the Grammys owes him an explanation or owes his fans an explanation for why he didn't have a Grammy.
I might say an unpopular opinion, but it's mine. I did not think that his latest album was one of his better pieces of work. I don't think that After Hours was that great of an album, to be quite honest. I think that there were maybe two to three songs that I actually really enjoyed. And that's different from the Starboy album. I think that's his last album. I personally like Starboy way better than this album. This album was a lot. It was a new sound for him as well. It was too poppy for me. It wasn't that, that cocaine R&B.
Well, he used to do more so of even with his song Blinding Lights, it was cool, but it wasn't. What was that one song that he did? Earned It or something like that? I miss that The Weeknd, where he was really
yes.
It was kind of dark R&B music. I don't really know what's going on right now. I mean, obviously his music is doing well. I have to play it a lot on my station, but no Grammys.
Yeah, okay. I was so excited for I am a Weeknd fan. I've been a fan since Thursday and House of Balloons and his mixtape stuff. So when this album came out, I just wasn't impressed. So when I saw that he didn't get a Grammy, I was like, well, no, duh. Because it wasn't that great of a piece of music to me. I mean, it just wasn't. He did have Blinding Lights was a good song. The video had very good visuals as well. He had like a short film, a music video short film for that song, and I thought it was great. Now that was great. And I think if he's hurt by that, I could understand, just because it was that was very good. But musically, like, if we're gonna really be like honest, I just didn't see it for him this year. I
just kind of feel bad because, and then we'll get on to the next subject, but he legit walked around just looking real crazy all year. Let me see if I can find
The Weeknd.
Yeah, man. You see this? He
was
real
that's
crazy
part
all
of his theme. That's part of his theme of After Hours.
I just feel like the way that he looked all years, and for him to do all of that and still not get a Grammy, I just feel like that was a waste of fake blood. Like, I feel like he thought his character would also get him there. But at the same time, I don't really know how the Grammys work. So it's like, for me as a radio host, playing him so goddamn often, sometimes I'm like, how are you not getting a Grammy? And you are literally someone that I personally have to play on my station every 2.5 minutes.
Right. And
no Grammy.
The thing about him, though, too, is that he crosses genres. So he can be very pop. He can also cross into rock. He can also cross into R&B, and then he'll throw in Future, and then so it's like he has a very like eclectic style, and he works with a lot of people. But so I guess I can understand why he feels like he deserves a Grammy, because he is The Weeknd. He's one of the biggest artists of today, truly, and for his last album to not receive the recognition that he expected to receive, I can see why that would make him upset. But I mean, and that theme, I don't know. I thought maybe I just was like not getting it, because the whole like beat up look that he's doing, it's from a car accident that he had in the short film. It's like the car like flips over and he
took his short film and just walked around like that in reality all year?
Yeah.
Okay, so next subject. Get this off the screen, child. Kitchen. Did you hear about True's Kitchen?
I did not.
So, you know what? I got a news clip for you. Let me get that. Because this was a mess.
One owner is responding after video of him yelling at customers went viral. All this twerking, take it to Ron, take it to Pete. Don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. You want to do it? Get out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. It started with some customers standing on furniture and twerking music played inside True Kitchen plus cocktails. Owner Kevin Kelly says before the viral video was recorded, he asked the women to stop dancing and sit down. The viral video shows him addressing the whole restaurant, saying he invested a lot of money into it so that Black people can have somewhere nice to go and feel good. The video spread quickly online, many saying Kelly addressed the situation poorly. He later posted on the restaurant's Facebook apologizing for using salty language, but not for calling out the women. He also posted other videos showing what the women were doing and how workers and management responded before he addressed the whole restaurant. Katie Johnston for CBS 11 News.
It was the delivery for me.
Yeah. And okay, did you see what they were serving there, though? Like the type of alcohol they were serving?
Here's my thing. I didn't really give a shit.
Okay, but let me just tell you really quick. They were serving like margaritas or some kind of mixed alcoholic drinks in Douce bottles, in Patron bottles, like as cups. So that's a lot of liquor you're giving to people with a DJ, with dance music. I'm not saying those girls were right, but I'm also I think they also had a stage or something like, or a dance floor type of situation.
I don't think they had a dance floor, but so this is what I heard. I seen something on Twitter where it looked like there was a girl that basically said he plans on turning it into a club at some point. So because for me, I was like, why do you have a DJ playing Throw That Ass in the Circle anyways, like in a restaurant, and you don't want because
right, that part.
I don't know what I did with the video, but there's literally a video of a girl doing that in there, and she like jumped up on one of the benches and had her hands on the window and was just really going in. And so he had to go over there and tap her on the shoulder and have her stop throwing that you know what in a circle. And I was just like, whoa. And so apparently this is like a really, really popular restaurant in Texas that is actually booked all the way up to January. So you can't even just walk in there, which is why when he said, I don't need your money. Now, and for me,
that's
again,
really
that was a bit much.
Yeah.
That was a bit much. I think for me, it was just the delivery. It wasn't that he was wrong. Because let's be frank, you can't do that in Seattle.
No.
I don't care. First of all, they wouldn't play that in a restaurant.
I was just about to say, I'm not hearing Throw That Ass in a Circle at your local restaurant in Seattle either. Not or Tacoma. Shoot.
You can barely even find that in a freaking club nowadays. Especially
Okay.
to Bellevue. Our strip clubs, no liquor.
Okay.
So
I just feel like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no. I was going to say, I think it's just a matter of whatever culture that he's trying to put out. And it's like, it's hard for me to say, like, to really give my true thoughts because this is in Texas rather than Seattle. To where in Seattle, it's like, I don't want to say you know better, but you know better. You know, you're lucky if all you get is cussed out and not arrested doing too much like that out here in Seattle. But in Texas, it's like, well, is this something that would normally happen there? Like, were they just overly drunk? You know, and it seems like it's like there was like a domino effect to where multiple people started dancing. So I just kind of feel like maybe you should just put some signs up that says stay off the walls, because obviously you're playing music that makes people twerk, but at the same time, there's a time and place.
Yes, and there's a time and a place, and also I feel like you can't just come at people like that. You know, if you don't want that to happen in your club or excuse me, in your restaurant, then don't play that kind of music. Don't play music that literally tells you to throw that ass in a circle and not expect somebody to be like, oh, shoot. Like, you know, like, don't expect that, because it's kind of like, what do you expect people to do? Like, I feel like if you want somewhere where Black people can feel like they need to be, are in a nice place, and, you know, you want people to dress a certain way, you want it to look a certain way, then do that across the board. Don't just do it halfway and then be like, oh, I'm also throwing a DJ to play all the ratchet twerk songs too. Like, that doesn't even match that aesthetic. If you want the aesthetic that you're looking for, then provide it across the board. You can't just do that. And I think that that's what he did. And he crossed over into the twerks and into all of that other, and, you know, got a reaction. All you got to do is ask the specific party to please not leave. That's it. I'm sure they have security. If they don't, I'm sure they would have had him as a manager. Could have simply just said,
he's an attorney. I know he got some security. Apparently, he's a really well-known attorney down there.
Exactly. So all he could have had, he could have just addressed the individuals, and then I'm pretty sure that would have been it. You don't have to address the whole restaurant and people sitting in the back that don't even know what's going on, and address them as, I don't need your money. Like, what kind of talk is that? That wasn't cool.
That was my thing. It was like, I understand your frustration, because my thing is, I'm pretty sure at some point in his head, he's like, this girl is standing up on my bench. She could fall through this window. She could fall on the floor, and all of a sudden, boom. And now you can sue me because you were so drunk that you did that. But at the same time, it's the delivery for me. And if you were really that upset, you could have just made an example of them and said, I'm sorry, you ladies are absolutely too drunk. I will cover your meal, but I do need for you guys to leave, because this is unacceptable, and I don't want anyone thinking that this is okay inside of my establishment. That was an angry father going off on his daughters. Period.
And honestly, it's kind of gross to me. Like, it was just like, why would you do? There's I even saw like grown people that were there as patrons just enjoying their meal.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to get talked to and yelled at by this man who is clearly addressing a table or two. You know, like, why address the whole party if it's, I can understand if there's 12 tables and 8 of them are acting up, address everybody. I get it. But it seems that it was like pockets of people that were acting a certain way. Address those people accordingly, but don't tell everybody. And then if you are going to say something to everybody, watch your mouth. Like, you just can't talk like that to people. That's crazy.
Talking to, sir.
Yeah, that was crazy to me.
It definitely goes both ways, but I think delivery is what matters. Thankfully, for those of you that don't know, he did go on Facebook and apologize for his delivery. And he also did show some things where I guess he'd asked them like 2 or 3 times before to not do it, and they continued. So I guess he reached a breaking point. But even still, as an attorney and as a business owner, you should know how to like have a little more tact. However, I don't know you guys' thoughts. Let us know what you think in the comments. Girl, Clubhouse. Did you see what happened with Kevin Hart recently? First of all, did you watch No F Given?
Yes.
Okay. For those of you that watched it there or didn't watch it, there's actually a clip within No F's Given, and he says that his daughter is a hoe. Because one day she's like, I like this kid. Then all of a sudden she's like, I don't like him anymore. I like this guy. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh, I don't like him anymore. I like this guy. And he was like, he hit up 2 of his friends that are quote unquote former hoes, and they said that is hoe-like behavior. So I guess one day, well, since the Netflix special has actually released, a lot of people have been going back and forth on if it's funny or not. You know, for me, I've been watching Kevin Hart for a minute, and this isn't necessarily what I feel that he typically would do. It shows, you can definitely see that he's in like a new tax bracket with the way that he does his jokes, because he's not around the same kind of people that he got a lot of his content from. So with that being said, there's a new app that's called Clubhouse. It's great networking. If you can get on, get on while you can. If you can't, there was a room that was called "Is Kevin Hart Funny?" Kevin Hart went in the damn room. Allegedly, Kevin Hart is actually part investor within Clubhouse. Not gonna front. I went onto my Robinhood app and tried to see if I can throw in some investment into the app. It's not on there yet. Anyways, Kevin Hart, if you're watching, let me know how you did that. Either way, there was an argument with a girl that was on Clubhouse. And so a lot of people are saying that he was degrading women within Clubhouse, when in reality, it was a conversation that went completely left. Have you heard like a screenshot or seen a screenshot of the conversation?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you guys that have missed the conversation, where you'll see, child, it gets spicy. It gets spicy. Let me see if I can get this one right.
Remember, we all had okay, well, Kevin, I want you to remember one thing, okay? Unlike all these other men in here who need something from you, want your validation. I don't need anything from you, and I want you to account for the kinds of things that you're saying in this room.
So what people don't realize is that pause, please. What people don't realize is that when he went viral on Clubhouse, it actually wasn't for what he said about his daughter. There's a point in there where he kind of like uses Bill Cosby as like an example for how Black people like to pull other Black people down. But it was really about the girl that he was arguing with in there, and said that all of his friends were writers. And that is what had Clubhouse going crazy. But because people are not on Clubhouse and they're only getting little bits and pieces, it was a crazy conversation, child. I had to even go on Clubhouse that night and try to figure out what the heck happened. Yeah. But I want to know your thoughts on 0F's Given, because a lot of people that weren't in Clubhouse, they don't realize that conversation that went left was really it was like a reaction or a response to what she was saying in terms of him calling his daughter a hoe.
Right.
So at the end of it, I don't know if you noticed, he wakes up and he's like, oh my God, I had this bad dream. And I was saying things that I would typically say. I said my daughter's, I said, I've been to Seinfeld's house. I've never been to Seinfeld's house. Do you think that he really meant that? Do you think that he was trying to get clicks? Like, what do you think his outcome really was with Real F's Given? Because personally, I'm confused from that ending.
Yeah, it was giving me a lot of pop star vibes. The pop star video where he wakes up, Justin Bieber wakes up and he's like, oh, I had a dream I was Drake. Like, you know, like in the whole video he was Drake. Like, it gave me those kind of vibes. But, you know, I did think it was funny. I don't think that it was like hilarious. I definitely had some good laughs in a few parts. But I mean, he's just getting older, and so his topics are going to be more about more mature things. You know, his kids are maturing. He's going to be talking about his wife. He's going to be talking about his ex-wife, and those are just like subjects. And I think a lot of times too, people try to relate to their audience when they do stand up. I think that he wanted to relate to them. I'm sure plenty of people that watch Kevin Hart have ex-wives. Plenty of them have kids. Plenty of them, their kids are growing up to an age where they're going to like boys. They're going to like a lot of boys. And, you know, I mean, in that particular part, me personally, I didn't think that it was that bad. But I do respect the opinion that they thought like, hey, like you can't be slut shaming your kid. And I didn't take it in that way, but there are people that did, and that should be able to be addressed. The cool thing about Clubhouse is that it's a platform for people to talk. So people came up with a conversation that they wanted to talk about, and Kevin Hart entered that space. He didn't have to do that. He saw his name on there, and that's why he entered. Same thing that happened to Tory Lanez a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you heard about that before.
No.
Yes, girl. Somebody wrote, somebody made a room and it was called Who Gave Tory Lanez, or Who Invited Tory Lanez to Clubhouse, something like that. And it was like a group of girls and they were just talking about it. His friend hopped onto there and started defending him. And then eventually Tory came into the room and these girls were going off on him, like going off. I was just listening, like I made that one. I was there, so I was just like, yes, it was nuts. It was a madhouse, and I was just like, yo, like this is really interesting because I'm sure he'll never see these women in his life, but he gets to understand and speak and hear what real people have to say. And that's the same thing with Kevin Hart. You know, if you're a content creator and you're putting yourself out there to create something that's content for people to receive, and you want people to view it and spend money on it and whatever, then Clubhouse is a way for people to let you know how they truly feel. And I think that, you know, Kevin Hart went into that space. He saw the title. He should have been kind of prepared. So
I think he knew that, in my opinion, he knew that it was going to be potentially a little spicy just because of, I mean, I'm pretty sure he had heard about Tory Lanez and what had happened with Tory Lanez by then, but I don't think he thought it was going to go left like that. But at the same time, I know for a fact it worked in his favor. Like, I was listening to The Breakfast Club earlier, and I think Charlamagne was like, yeah, I went and watched the damn play, watched it this weekend just to see what the heck was going on. I'm like, exactly. So whether people want to admit it or not, he got free promo out of that for everybody being like, me. And it's like, okay, well, what is the big hoopla about? So now he has all these extra streams because it's not like he can go on tour. But either way, we were going to talk about Young Thug, but honestly, Young Thug told on himself when he wore that Andre 3000 coat. For those of you that don't know, he was doing an interview with T.I., and he said that he can't sing one Andre 3000 song. Yet there's actually a coat of him wearing saying, like, I love Andre 3000, Andre, but look, I'll put the picture in here after this edit. But, yeah, girl, it was a mess. Child, I'm not even surprised. We're going to do 5 randoms with Besa, obviously. First one, I have to ask about your hairstyles because you always be doing some cute hairstyles. What has been your favorite hairstyle this year?
This year for me, I want to say my favorite hairstyle has been the twists, but they're like boho twists. What are they called? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, I did like. Are they like yarn twists or something? No,
they're not yarn. They're I just had them myself. They're twists, but you use curly hair with them.
I remember seeing them. They were bomb.
Thank you. They're so cute though. I mean, I love them, and they don't. Some people say they don't last very long. Mine held up, but I think it also depends on the texture of your hair. So if you have like more fine hair, it will slip because it's not braids or twists, so they will slip a little sooner. But I have some thick hair, so mine definitely stayed in a little longer. But that's actually my favorite style. I've seen so many girls rock that style this year, and I think it's every person I've seen it on. It looks so gorgeous on them.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be my next style, but I want it in blue. If you have one wish before the year is over, what would it be?
One wish before the year is over. I would wish that COVID was over.
Girl, me too. During this, what was your drink of choice during the election season?
Tequila.
I don't blame you, child. 3 misconceptions of Jazzy Redd.
3 misconceptions. First, I will say I don't know why, but I've heard this before that I have RBF.
You do.
So I think that's one misconception about me. If you don't know me and you just see me like with that
face, but
I guess I have like an attitude. Like I have a face, like I have an attitude, and I'm really nice. Like I'm really bubbly. I'm really nice. I'm really friendly. I love meeting new people. I love talking. So I think that's a misconception. Don't let the RBF fool you, please. I'm very nice. What else? I think that some people might think that I might like be like super, well, maybe before, but like a party girl. I'm not anymore. I once was. But however, I turned 30 and that has slowly changed. I'm still fun. I love a good party. That's one thing I will say. I do love a good party, but I don't party like I used to. I really just be chilling. And the last one, I think that people think that I gave up on my career. And some people think that like I kind of just moved to LA and then maybe didn't want to pursue it anymore. And that's not true. I've just kind of refocused my career into more of just, at first I was just like radio. Like that's all I wanted to do. But when I came to LA, I realized like there's so much more that I could do here or anywhere in general. But so I kind of want to actually look more into like journalism itself. And so I think that in multiple platforms, I think that is what, because I've heard like a lot of people ask me like when I come home and I haven't seen them or something like that, they're like, are you still doing radio? I'm like, no, but I'm not done.
You're not coming to.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's still, you can't stop this personality. Like it's gonna get out some way. So
Speaking of that, the last question is what you have going on next. Now you're working on a new project. So if you wanted to give us a quick little 2-minute rundown of what you got coming out next week or in a couple weeks, that would be grand.
Yes. So I am working on a project right now with 3 other guys. Only girl, but it's called the Black History Project, and it is a platform for Black people, but also all other people, but specifically for us Black people to learn more about our history in this country. We don't have very many resources other than our family members or the internet, which would take a lot of research on your own to to find out about where you come from, what we've done in this country, other than be slaves and have to fight for, civil rights and, all the bad things that have happened to us in this country. There's so much more that we are as people. And I think that doesn't get a lot of light. And so we're making a platform to highlight our Black triumphs rather than our trials. So that is something that we're going to be releasing next week, actually. So keep an eye out. December 14th, we will be bringing it out to the world and letting everyone know what we're doing and asking for volunteers, donations, if you want to get involved, that kind of thing. I'm really excited about it. We've been working on this forever. Like, I swear, we've probably been working on this since like May or June. And it's finally going to be released. Yeah.
Well, I remember you have shown me like a little clip of it before, and I was amazed. Like, one, you have an amazing voice for doing the background audio, and two, the edits are just absolutely. It reminds me of something you would see on like a History Channel, but actually done by Black people. So I appreciate the efforts. I appreciate the talent, and I appreciate the entertainment, because I think more Black people definitely, we need to know about our entertainment. But I think some of us have such short attention spans that if it's not interesting, or if we feel like we can't relate. Squeaky bike outside. What's happening out there? Or if you feel like we can't relate to the person, sometimes I feel like people just kind of tune out, you know what I mean? But I think the way that you do it and your style of how you narrate and just also the overall visuals, I think people are going to learn a lot. So I can't wait until you guys see this. I can't wait till it drops. Make sure that you stay tuned for that, December 14th. Once you guys drop it, I'll make sure to share it on my IG story. So that way, but otherwise, I want to thank you for being on the Rewind with Besa.
Thank you for having me. I always love doing things with you. They're so fun. Thank you so much.
And like, we haven't done like a FaceTime in a minute, so this was like close.
Yeah, it was. It was real close.
All right. Well, you guys already know what I always say. Thank you for watching. Make sure you follow my girl Jazz on social media at Jazzy Redd 1_. She got her out there for you, so that way you can just screenshot that and pull it up over there. Always also keep up with me at Besa. And until next time, you guys already know, be your own vibe.